Can't tell you how often I've heard. It's 1:44 p.m. Not that it really matter, or maybe it does. I can't tell you how often I've heard. Start a YouTube channel. When I said years, I mean years. All you need is your iPhone, and that's really what I'm using. With a little splash of TikTok, and obviously a little sprinkle filter. Every time I'm tired, or too tired, I just dash the filter on, off with it. This is not a how-to video or whatever. So, long story somewhat short, my why seemed to be big enough to get started now. I feel like there's some people who wholeheartedly believe certain things until things change. Maybe not everybody really look into that, but that's where I'm coming from with what I'm about to share. Because I feel like people need to start questioning their reality. My why for starting this channel is that I want people to understand that everything is not always as it seems, and everybody's going through something, and that as dark as the tunnel might be, there's light at the end of the road. There's so much to cover, so let's just see where this video goes. Really and truly, the message here is for everybody, but it took me a second to accept that I'm not for everybody, and I'm not a public speaker, obviously. But the way you deliver a message can make the importance of it fly over people's head. Sometimes people who really need it. So that bothered me because it's coming from a very caring place. If you notice, the background is a little more quiet because I have a space heater on earlier. But yeah, sometimes it's not what you say but how you say it. So I can only hope that it connect when it will connect. If you don't get it now, you'll get it later. That's my hope, because it is for everybody. Well, as a resident of this place called Earth, many of us can agree that we've been bamboozled. It's like some of us, I want to say some of you, but why not include myself? Some of us are still walking around delusional as to what is and what isn't. Mind you, everybody's reality is different. Who's to say what's wrong or right? Frankly, I don't think anything is really wrong or right. It's all about perspective. And I'm here for perspective. I love it. But some things just don't work. Some things just aren't working. But when it comes to talking to people about whatever isn't working, they turn a blind eye. And it's to those people that I refer to as delusional. No offense. I've been delusional too. We've all been. We don't come to our senses at the same time. Nevertheless, the question I want to ask is, if the betrayal by whomever was quite obvious, we wouldn't have fallen for some tricks. So being that that's the case, it wasn't always obvious, because it still isn't to a lot of people. At what point will you stop and question your reality? You don't have to be the same as my reality is or her reality, because everybody's reality is different. It's a beautiful shared reality creating this thing called life. Like I said, some things just aren't working. So at what point will you stop and listen and pay attention to what somebody's trying to enlighten you on? I did say I respect perspective. I love it. But nevertheless, some things aren't working. Some things just need upgrading. Like, they're so outdated. They're not here for the betterment of anybody. And they're not helping us to move forward. And the aim is to always move forward in life. What's up with being stagnant? We don't all agree with everything we see and hear. But we can all agree that many are coming to the understanding that not everything that they consume is good for them. Yet they're on the market, feeding it to our babies and everything. We're also seeing that, or know that, people are dying from curable sickness that pretty much preventable. To think that you lost family members and friends that could still be here if they knew better. So again, the focus is on how sometimes things aren't really what they seem to be. Some people have a hard time letting go, but we're seeing, evidently, even if we're not the ones doing it, people who used to believe in something wholeheartedly are now questioning the things that they believe in for good reasons. So, when will it be your turn if it's not yet your turn? Things don't have to hit the fan or rock bottom before you start to make a change. And sometimes the change is just to question things. Don't be afraid to question things. Our next group of people would be of all age group. I don't even know what to categorize them as, this generation or whomever. But you have some people who are starting to realize that there's not so much problem with them and the way they learn, but it might just be the way they're being taught. Before, everybody would accept how stupid they are because they didn't get a certain grade, not realizing that we're all different, we learn different, so it's not fair to use the same yardstick to measure everybody's intelligence. So you get it, that we're still questioning things because it used to fly over our heads, but not anymore, some of these things. Then you have some believers of all walks of life who give so much devotion to their creator through the middleman. They don't understand the need for a personal relationship with their creator. To some extent, I understand that, but with my understanding, they need a new understanding so that they can skip the middle person and build that relationship with their creator. Some of these middle man or woman, we know, especially in the country where I'm from, I shouldn't say especially, but we know that they be molesting children. They're ripping faithful churchgoers off when they collect offering, like taking payment for God blessing. God bless them for free. But let's not even go there. The point is that once upon a time we wholeheartedly believe something, and then eventually we have to start questioning it. The way that roll off my tongue, questioning it, whatever. And then you have some parents. Some people are afraid to dishonor their parent in any shape or form. But some are coming to the understanding that they really don't know best. Not all of them. Does any of them? I don't know. But they don't know best. Let's just leave it at that. No, some of us are being told to understand that they did the best they could, and that is understandable. But still, it don't take away from knowing that they don't know best. One minute you know something, the next minute you don't. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So you don't have to come and stare dead on in the face before you start questioning your reality. Some things are just worth questioning before you even hit rock bottom. My focus is not so much on any organization or fake leaders or something you can hardly skip past them. But it's more on the followers who don't know that they're following whatever principle and this and that they're following. Because it is important to know that one minute you can know something and the next minute you really don't. Man, on my journey, some things caused me to question my sanity. Question my sanity. I'm not saying you should be scared. Don't be scared. But for real, a lot of things fly over your head if you're not open-minded. And some people are probably just comfortable being closed-minded. And let them go to sleep, little sleepyhead. Nozzle off in your nozzle bed. That's what you want to do. But for those who have things to do on earth, wake up and question reality. I don't think all pastors are bad. I don't think all politicians only care about their family and screw the rest of the country. Hell, some parents don't even know that. Do they not know that their little mini adults have minds of their own and don't need to be domesticated like animals. Help guide them and help them find themselves instead of trying to mold them in what you think they should be. Why I kind of feel like that's still gonna fly over some parents' head, because despite whatever is going on in the world, it started at home, and it's understandable that some of these parents have been domesticated themselves. Yes, domesticated like animals. So it's somewhat understandable that they do the same to kids, which is all the more reason why you should supposed to. You should. How would I put should and supposed to in one word? Anyways, it's all the more reason why you should question reality, so you don't have to repeat the same cycle with your babies or those you care about. Reminder, if I follow through and I don't see why I shouldn't or wouldn't, this will be my first YouTube video. And again, the background gets silent because I turned the space heater off, which I turned on after making the first half of this video. I mentioned that I'm using a little sprinkle of TikTok and a little dash of the filter and whatever else I feel like using. I'll do what I want. Where was I? In the first half, I was making a list of people who might be falling short in certain areas. But at the same time, I'm not saying I don't think all of them are bad people. It just boiled down to not everybody knowing that they're followers. The truth is just the truth. It's very nice to see people waking up. That's what I call it. In other words, being more conscious. You know, I think it's funny that the more conscious they are, along with being very young, they're being seen as rebellious. Ain't that a coincidence? The old ways are falling away, whether we like it or not. The old ways of the world, the old way of society, the upgrading is taking place. Not everybody wanna partake or gonna partake or however you wanna put it, but it's happening regardless. And I like that. I like that a lot. But it's kind of sad that these young people who, even though their mind is so, I see a car speeding in the opposite direction and under a one-way street. Anyways, and it's reversing at that. Pay attention here. I pity the little babies. Well, they're not babies. I call all kids babies of all age group, 18 and under. Sometimes even 19. Anyways, the babies are having a hard time expressing themselves because they're much like me, but much more conscious. Where I didn't like the idea of being told what to do if it really go against my moral, even when I didn't know what morals were at a certain age. I was getting so windy outside. But unless you're on the conscious boat, then it's kind of hard for you to understand that these little people might be having a hard time expressing how they really feel. Some of them choose not to express because they won't be understood. They won't be understand, whatever, by one-track-minded guardians, friends, peers, whatever. It will be all right soon. I really believe so. For those who truly get it, we have a part to play in raising the consciousness of those around us. I'm not saying people should go start a movement and disrupt the world. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I'm not saying you should. Sometimes it's just one mind at a time. It's more important to me, even if it don't matter to you. It's more important to me that everybody get to a place where they can freely express themselves without depriving anybody of their happiness, stealing anyone's joy to do so. It takes a level of maturity and certain understanding of what the world is really about for that to happen, I think. Politicians can tell you that they disagree. Not all politicians, but society, whatever they have going on right now that's been outdated, can tell you that they don't play that. They'll steal as many joy as possible to make whatever they want to work for them. So that's why I say the upgrade is needed in order for everybody to be happy and be free to be who they are, do what they're here to do, and get it together. I want to mention that I lost my job some time back. But what I learned, because everything is a learning experience for me, in regards to the domestication of mankind, this 3:33 p.m. is just pulling on my attention. Anyways, I realized that a part of me, a huge part of me, felt like I should just be going. Not just, oh, let me get another job, but it's almost like I can't sit still. Like my body just feel like we got things to do. No matter what it is, we got things to do. We don't understand the need to rest. we I'm talking about myself here, my mind, body, soul, whatever. I was taken back by it. Like I don't have anything to do tomorrow. Yet still I feel a need to go to bed on time or get enough sleep because not just because I need to rest, but there's just this feeling in my body where it didn't catch up with the mind or whatever else it's supposed to catch up with, that hey, we're not on society's clock anymore. We don't need to punch in and punch out. And I think I'm saying that because a lot of people are losing their job and they don't view society the way I do. So more than I did, they're gonna feel the need to go, trying so hard to find another job. Because yes, a lot of people will be losing their job. I see it. Not just see it coming, but see it already happening. It's happening. I feel like I should just talk about that some other time. But the body, we need rest. I think it's one of the universal law that I never really even come to understand until losing my job. You have to make time for yourself. Make time for yourself in ways that you've never made time before. I'll address that some other time. Let me just say, since TikTok is closing out this 10-minute long video, get familiar with the universal law. Some of you, all of us are living by it without even knowing it. So when you can call it an art, perfect the art, you will understand so much more. It's a beautiful thing to admit that I do not know a lot. I do not know a lot or everything. Who knows everything? Let me just say a lot. I do not know a lot. And the more I know, it feels like the less I know. But still, it allowed me to see how much I know in comparison to everybody else. And it kind of make you feel like you know a lot, but you know you don't. Give it a try, you guys. Do a little housekeeping on the only vehicle that will carry you throughout life. You ruin this one, it's not a Mercedes or Toyota where you can replace it. Change your oil, update your way of thinking so you can get the most out of it. Why wouldn't you want the most out of it? Out of life, out of your body, out of it. Snap out of your old way of thinking.